We will build a neural network in TensorFlow consisting of 4 layers that takes in a handwritten digit and tells us which digit it is. We will use the MNIST handwritten digits dataset, which contains 60,000 images for training and 10,000 images for testing our model. And it works pretty well. TensorFlow is an open source machine learning library developed by Google. It is used for both research and production at Google. TensorFlow offers APIs for beginners, experts to develop applications for desktop, mobile, web, and the cloud. I will use a Jupyter notebook inside a virtual environment. We first create a new virtual environment with Python 3 -m venv venv. And to activate it, we use source venv bin activate. We run pip3 install Jupyter TensorFlow NumPy matplotlib to install all the necessary dependencies for our project. With Jupyter Notebook, we start Jupyter. And with new Python 3, we create a new notebook. First, I add all the necessary imports to the top of the notebook so I don't need to scroll around much during the video. The images we'll work with have a size of 28 by 28 pixels and are grayscale, meaning the pixel values range from 0 for black up to 255 for white. To ensure our network learns efficiently, we aim to have normalized values though, ranging from 0 to 1, so we will need to do a little bit of pre-processing as well. First, we need to download the dataset. Fortunately, it is a very common dataset to train on, so there are helper methods available for downloading it. We use Dataset's MNIST load data to download the dataset. To normalize the data, we are casting the integer values to floating point values and dividing them by 255. Let's briefly examine the dataset. Our training set has 60,000 images and there are 10,000 images in the test set. Each image is 28 by 28 pixels. Let's see what they look like. I use matplotlib to show the first 10 images of the training set here. Exactly what we want. 10 handwritten digits with the strongest pixel values being the digit itself. Let's create a simple feed-forward network with 784 input neurons, a hidden layer with 128 neurons, another hidden layer with 64 neurons, and an output layer with 10 neurons, one output neuron for each possible digit. The input and hidden layers will use the reload activation function to communicate their activation to the next layer. And the output uses softmax to turn the neuron activation into a probability. This way we get the probability of which digit is seen in the input image, ranging from 0 to 1. I use the sequential class to define our model. This class feeds the input sequentially through the defined layers to generate the output. The input to our neural network is a two-dimensional image of 28 by 28 pixels. Because our input layer requires 784 input values, we flatten the input to be a vector of length 784. Next, we feed these 784 values into a densely connected layer, which outputs 128 activations and uses the reload activation function to shape them. These are then fed into another densely connected layer, outputting 64 activations shaped by reload again. Lastly, we use another densely connected layer to output 10 activations. But this time we use the softmax activation function to shape them and to turn them into a probability. Now it's time to train our model on the training set. Training means we are feeding the entire training set, so 60,000 images and their respective correct labels a couple of times into the network, comparing if the result of the network is actually correct. Every time something goes wrong, we calculate which neurons make a bad decision and tweak them a little. If everything works, over time our network should get better and learn to recognize the digits. This training algorithm is called backpropagation and there are different implementations. Explaining the math behind it goes beyond the scope of this video, but there are a lot of really good resources out there if you want to know more. To know if our neural network performs the task correctly, we need a definition of what correct means. That's what a loss function is for. For a classification task like ours, the negative log likelihood loss function is great. To give you an intuition of what is happening, imagine the following. Given the number 3, our model spits out these probabilities. As we can see, the model is only 40% sure that the digit is a 3. That needs to be corrected. Our loss function should spit out a high value to indicate something is wrong and a low value if everything is fine. We take the 0.4 and calculate the logarithm of it. This gives us a minus 0.92. If it would be more sure, like 90%, we would get minus 0.1. And if it wasn't sure at all, with 1%, this will yield minus 4.6. So to get a high value for every wrong prediction, all we have to do is to negate the log. And voila, we get a high loss value for wrong predictions. Keep in mind though that the loss function is really dependent on the task you're trying to perform. So you basically cannot simply copy this code to make a prediction on crypto prices. Before we can train our model, we need to compile it. Here we set the optimizer. Adam is one of the implementations of backpropagation. We also set our loss function. Here it gets a little bit complex. To avoid delving too deep into naming and other loss functions, sparse categorical cross-entropy uses the negative log likelihood when making a prediction in multiple classes, and the target label is the index of the category. We track the accuracy during training, which is simply the number of correct predictions divided by the total number of images in the training set. Now we can simply call the fit method with our training images, the associated labels, and let it run for 5 epochs, which means 5 full run-throughs over all 60,000 images. Let's train our model. This didn't take very long, so let's see how we're doing. Let's start with 1 digit. For that, I'll use a function I found in a Medium article I'll link in the description below. This function takes the image of the digit and the probabilities output by the model. We use matplotlib to display the image and the probabilities side by side. First, we show the image. Next, we draw a bar chart of all the probabilities for each digit. We are retrieving one image from our test set and inputting it into our model. Then we let our model make a prediction and obtain the probabilities. Next, we can easily pass the image and the probabilities to our view class function. Here's what it looks like. Our model is quite confident that this is a 7. Good job! Now it's time to evaluate the whole test set. To evaluate our model, we simply call the evaluate method with all test images and test labels and receive the total loss and accuracy back. Let's see. Wow, 97.93 accuracy for only 5 epochs. That's very decent. If you want to know about the inner workings of neural networks and how to predict your favorite whiskey with them, this video tells you all about it. Until then, have a lot of fun, coders!